Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
It's T-Shirt Slogan Tuesday, and here's some of my favorites for this morning. Here's one from back in Tennessee. I'm going to stop asking how dumb can you get. People seem to take it as a challenge. And here's one of my favorites that I've got to get for myself. This one was seen down in Salt Lake City, Utah. Wait, I do not snore. I dream I'm a motorcycle. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Tuesday. Good morning. And a good morning to you. I'm Zeb Bell, and welcome to Zeb at the Ranch for this Tuesday, July 24th. And, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And get ready for a road trip. Stop in and see them today, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My friend.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, Doug. Thank you, and call back in a little bit if you would, please.
God bless.
All right, sir. Thank you. Time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Hello, Roger and the crew over there on the Burley-Paul Highway, serving you with the best of rental of best tools and equipment that you need. I don't care if it's rototillers. I don't care if it's jackhammers. I don't care what it is. They've got it in long and short-term use contracts. So by golly, get a hold of them today. K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Number to call, 678-3122. Right now, here's Gino with the weather.
Expecting another warm day here in the Magic Valley. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Mostly sunny skies, expecting a high of 95, possible triple digits depending upon where you're at. Going to be a little bit breezy as well, winds out of the west, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy skies, expecting a low of 63 for Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 91, mostly clear for Wednesday night with a low of 60 by Thursday. Sunny and 90, and expect pretty much 90 degrees throughout the rest of the weekend. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Ooh, it's going to be warm. Good morning, and thank you again for our weather being sponsored right off the bat this morning by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Right there, you can't miss it. It's on the Burley-Paul Highway, and they get there early in the morning at 7 a.m. to serve you. Number to call, 678-3122. K&R Rental. Good people. By the way, too, don't forget when I talk about good people, I've got to talk about Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Sale day Thursday this week at 10:30. Don't you miss it. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, and they'll all serve you. And the number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, sale on Thursday at 10:30. Don't you miss it. By the by, too, they've been with us a long time, and I'm talking about Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Kevin and Cindy and the entire staff are so service-oriented, and they can clean anything. They can restore items, and they'll even wash your clothes. That's right, you take them in there, and they will wash, dry, fold, and iron all your clothes. You don't have to do anything. They'll do it for you at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see these good people today. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was deeply saddened this morning that a friend of mine and her husband Gene Schiffler were friends of mine since way back in 1969 when I came to this country. And they very unfortunately found Gloria Schiffler, and she had passed away and was in a canal system over north of Filer. And sad, really sad, 83-year-old Gloria Schiffler. And like I said, I had known her and her husband Gene for many, many, many years. And I'm saddened, but we send our heartfelt condolences to the family. And it's just got to be tough on them. Very tough. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They open the doors early in the morning at 7:30. Stay open till 5 Monday through Friday. You better believe it for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. What a staff, what knowledge, and they've been in business almost 6 decades. Holy cow. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, with all your air filters to keep your AC units running cool and efficiently. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 678-0459. You be sure and call them or stop in today. Caller, good morning, and thank you for your call.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I, too, am sad that they weren't able to find this person alive. That's such a tragedy. But the thing that I want to talk about today is national security clearances.
Yes.
Now, it seems to me that they hand these out like candy.
No, that's not true.
A lot of people don't have them.
No, it's not true that they hand them out like candy. They really go into backgrounds and in-depth past performances, what they've done, who they've worked for, and everything. And unfortunately, it's kind of an administration by administration handout, and many of which these clearances are kept from administration to administration, unless the current president and the administration deem necessary to revoke some of these security clearances. And this is the case with some of these people like Comey and Clapper, Susan Rice and Brennan and the others. I don't blame Trump for as much trouble as they've caused. I don't blame him for trying to pull their security clearances.
Well, what I'd like to say is these people were not worthy of good clearance before they were chosen. I mean, their choices sometimes are really bad, like this Brennan. Do you think he just turned sour all of a sudden?
No.
No, I think he's a bad person right from day one and should never have been anywhere.
Yeah, but Keith, he fit the mold that they were trying to create and the image of the Obama administration. So there you have it. Whether it's Comey, whether it's Susan Rice, whether it's Clapper or Brennan, you're talking about people that fit the mold for Obama.
It was a perfect fit, just like in your opening statement about how dumb can you get?
Yeah.
I thought that was so pathetic. You know, when people tell you that, how dumb can you get? And then you think, duh, can I get any dumber?
Yeah, you exceed your expectations. Hey, Keith, I got another one waiting, and I got to get a commercial, and call me back a little later. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the best one I've heard in a long time.
All right, sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you. God bless. Appreciate it. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget Thursday's Lunch Bunch Day at Denny's Restaurant. You better believe it. We're going to be over there on behalf of Zeb's Lunch Bunch at 611 North Overland in Burley, starting at 11:30, and we've got a lot of door prizes to give away, a lot of gift certificates from Walmart and Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Pomerell Place, Denny's. Oh, my goodness. We thank all of those great people, and you're going to just enjoy the lunch. Oh, my goodness. The menu choices are phenomenal. And whether you go in there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to enjoy all of it. All of it, and super nice people taking care of you at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Caller, I promise I'm coming. Just hang on just a second. I want to remind everybody, too, about Pomerell Place, a place for senior living. And they are just such nice people that want to make sure that you're taken care of and that all is well. Seniors living alone, it's not the best thing in the world to happen. And with missed medication, not eating correctly, safety hazards, etc., I urge you to get a hold of our friends at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, Pomerell Place. Call them, find out more, and they offer the ability of seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably at Pomerell Place, 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, 677-8212. Caller, thank you. You are on the air.
You're more than welcome. Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Getting back to Cortez and Bernie Sanders, the American voter had better understand what's going to happen if they take power. They've got to understand the reason why businesses left this country is for two big reasons: overregulation and taxation. And if they ever have their way of wanting to give everything to the entire world, they're going to see all these businesses that Trump got back to this country are going to be packing up and going back overseas. The unemployment rate is going to escalate, and we'll have another 4 years of Barack Obama.
No, we'll have possibly forever. I disagree with you that it's going to be limited to 4 years. I look at these next elections as turning points in our history and our society forever. If this American public is dumb enough, and I'm just going to state it as bluntly as I can, dumb enough to put Democrats and the socialistic values in office, this country may never get its legs back under them again, ever, because of the sleaze and the un-American values, etc. I'm really concerned, Tony. I really am.
Well, I am too, because Barack Obama has damaged this country to the point that I don't think there's going to be any coming back. If we get another Democrat in office, we'd be finished.
Well, I can't argue with that. I just basically stated that because I don't understand their policies. I don't understand why they want to go so extreme left. I don't understand why they would want to keep, for instance, criminal, illegal aliens in this country and call it diversity. I don't understand how they can come up with the socialistic values and call it good. Socialism has failed everywhere in the world, and it's been cruel to its people.
Well, I'd like to know where the brainwashing is coming from. Now, this may sound a little off the wall to you, but is it possible that subliminal undertaking is happening in our schools?
I don't even think it's subliminal. I think it's very forthright and honest and blatant.
Well, Zeb, let's hope the American people wake up, because I see it coming.
I do too, and I'm not trying to be negative, and I'm not trying to have everybody say, oh, I got to head for the cave and pull the rock in after me. We've got to fight back, and we've got to restore the values that this country had from our forefathers, that they fought for, died for, gave their blood, sweat, and tears for. And for people like this Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, wow, I never thought anybody like her would get any traction, but unbelievably she is.
Oh, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, we've got a bunch of young people coming up today that need their dependents. They'll be dependents until the day they die.
I agree.
This is the new generation we've got coming up.
I agree. Tony, it's always good to hear from you in the morning. Thank you so much. God bless you in Twin Falls. We appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, buddy. Bye. Thank you. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yeah, I mentioned about criminal illegal aliens in this country, and I mean criminal illegal aliens that are attempted to be by ICE and others deported to their countries. New York Cuomo is fighting to keep the criminal illegals here in the United States. Why? And when I listened to him, my butt fell out of my chair. He said, well, it's diversity of having these people here in the United States. Diversity is strength. Mull that over for a second. These are criminals that have committed crimes against our citizens, and Cuomo is fighting their deportation, and then he says something like, diversity is strength. That's why he's fighting to keep them here. At our expense, taxpayer dollars, and at citizen security. This is the nuttiest thing that's come down the road in a long time. And Cuomo in New York is an idiot. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Want to remind you, too, Dino Septic Service in Rupert. Wonderful people that do the job that you and I don't want to stand out there and do. Septic tanks pumped and liquid waste removal, mainline irrigation installation and repair, water and sewer lines installed, backhoe service. They do it all with a smile on their face. Fast, fair, friendly service. Dino Septic Service. All you need to do is call them at 436-6526 or 678-1638. And they will show up in your yard ready to work and ready to serve you with that big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service, the very best at what they do. You give them a call today. Want to remind you, too, that our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, I absolutely can't say enough about what they do to help you get back to being you. That's right. Whether you're recouping from an accident or a surgery or whatever the case might be, I urge you to give them a call and make an appointment. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists, they know all the exercises to help you, and they've got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in the area. You call them today, 678-1191, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Caller, I can't wait to hear you. Go, you're on the air.
Good morning again, sir.
Well, my friend.
Yeah, the deal of pulling those securities, or the what the heck was that word? I'm sorry.
You lost me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Brenner and Clapper. And,
oh, the security clearances.
Right, security clearances. That's it. Yeah, that should have been done a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And also, charges should be brought up against them for leaking classified information.
Well, and charges against Susan Rice for just being a flat-out liar.
Well, yes. And who is their commander-in-chief?
Mr. Obama.
Which you can keep your plan, you can keep your doctor, and you'll save $2,500 a year.
You're looking at some of the most insidious characters that we've seen in Washington serving in administration for as long as I've been alive. I mean, we're talking about Brennan, that is a liar. He's absolutely loose with his lips in calling President Trump a traitor. We're talking about Clapper, that he lied before the Senate hearings with his toe-shaped head and his weird-looking smile in smugness. He lied. Susan Rice lied to the general public. Comey, now there's a dandy that you want your kids to grow up and imitate.
You bet. I mean, you just named them all off right there. And look at the past administrations over the last history that you can remember of administration changes going from one president to another. How many can you name that the CIA director, the FBI director, the National Security director, Susan Rice, President Obama, have immediately come out and condemning this new president and his policies?
You know, it's
how many in the past administrations have done that?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and I hope we never see anything like it again. But, you know, I've got a story here. Let me find it here real quick, about a person that wanted to go to a rally. And she wanted to go and write about it. She wanted to go to the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez rally. And she went over there, and she was absolutely astounded. I can't find it right now on my desk, which if you saw my desk is understandable. But she wrote a complete story about how enveloping it was, and how their lies and their innuendos and their speeches that were so basically socialistic and un-American, and the crowd was going nuts, and they were being caught up in it, and they were yelling and screaming in the favor. And she says, my goodness, if this is going to go on all across the country, in the heartland of America, on the East Coast, etc., it's really spooky, Doug, how this contagious thing might take effect.
Exactly. And when you offer people that are lazy, you offer them something free, they'll buy anything.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, and you talk about, Jerry, your other callers talking about he wasn't sure how they got brainwashed. They've been brainwashed in the public schools ever since the 50s. And just a little at a time. Just, what was that comedy skit, that inch by inch?
Oh, step by step, yard by yard, etc., with Abbott and Costello, the baseball analogy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just it. You just as an analogy, you open up a fresh can of coffee and you take a scoop out. Well, you don't notice it until a few weeks later. You're getting down in the bucket and there's not many scoops left.
Amen.
That's exactly what's been going on with the government. When the government teaches the kids what they want them to know, they can indoctrinate them.
Yeah, but I got to go back to New York's Cuomo, Governor Cuomo. And you got to help me on this one, because how in the world can the people of New York State be this stupid to have a governor that's going to stand up and tell them that he's going to fight to keep illegal criminals in our country and help them avoid deportation so they can stay here on our dime, and he calls that diversity is strength?
I know it, and that's, you've got the low information voter, the Democrats that are brainwashed. They're too lazy to research anything for themselves, so they just take their Democrat email that comes out every day, tells them what their talking points are, and that's what they talk every time they talk to them or try to discuss something.
It's unbelievable. And for this woman, this Cortez, to get up in front of these crowds, and they were screaming, and they were cheering, and they were dancing, and she's espousing that everybody's going to get free health care, everybody's going to get free Medicare, everybody's going to get a free college education. Wait a minute, stop the bus. If I had her on this program, I would interrupt her very rudely and say, pardon me, miss, where is the money coming to pay for all this?
Federal government. They can just print more money.
No, it's coming out of Dougie's and Zebby's pocket.
Exactly, but that's their answer.
Yeah.
The federal government has it's got a money tree out back, and they just go pick the money and pay for it.
Do these people not have any basics of a high school economics class about inflation and driving things completely through the roof to the point where all of a sudden you spiral out of control like a pass in the end zone that is missed? I mean, sooner or later, the piper's got to be paid for playing the music.
Well, and a lot of these millennials and these people that's got these high school loans, no, they don't. The government will take care of it. The government should pay for my college because I borrowed all this money. Now I can't pay it back. What do you mean interest? I got to pay interest?
Yeah, I just don't understand the mindset about how personal responsibility is taken away, and all of that is taken over by the government to feed you, clothe you, educate you, and give you a job. I don't understand that.
Well, all we got to do is look at Venezuela. That's what socialism does when they try to level the playing field. Yeah, it gets level. Everybody below the ruling class is leveled,
absolutely,
starving to death, and the ruling class is living in luxury.
Absolutely. I've got to run, Doug. I got a call waiting, but go ahead and give us your quick 15-second spiel.
Well, let's take care of our senior centers. I still haven't got all the information on that drawing over at the Rupert Senior Center, but I think they raised somewhere close to $5,000.
Wow. Okay.
But I will get the numbers and the people that won, and I will announce it tomorrow.
All right, Doug. Thank you, Doug Martin. Good buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, don't forget the 70th annual, 70th annual Minidoka County Fair and the theme Building Dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. Starts on July 30th through the August 4th, and on Monday, July 30th, they're going to have the lawnmower races at 6 p.m. in the arena. Oh, that is a treat. Tuesday, July 31st, Tiny Tot Gymkhana, and also on the 31st, great concert by Charlie Jenkins. And then, of course, Lions Barbecue. And then on Friday and Saturday night, August 3rd and 4th, Wild West Open Rodeo. It's going to be great, always is, along with a lot of other great things to attend. The annual Minidoka County Fair. Building Dreams at the Minidoka County Fair, July 30th through August 4th. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know, this Cortez, she doesn't know much. And, you know, they would like to say that she's the future of the Democratic Party. And, well, good luck. And then, you know, Paulette Jordan, they were talking to her, and she wants to legalize pot. And, you know, she thinks it's going to make the state money. And she doesn't have much substance in the tank either. You know, they're both kind of alike.
Oh, I agree.
You know, you know, they're scary. If they were ever to get any power, you wonder where it would end up. But you see, the Democrats are willing to jump on anything that might be popular.
You know, Randy, let me ask you this. Paulette Jordan, and she's come out in favor of a lot of things. You were talking about marijuana, and come out in favor of, you know, increasing Medicaid. And it's always the Democrats saying, we're going to increase this and give you more, but they never explain how they're going to pay for it. There was a letter in the paper in regards to her about a week ago, and at the end of the letter, this person that wrote the letter said, oh, I couldn't help but feel that we were in the presence of greatness. This woman needs to be governor, talking about Paulette Jordan. I'm scared of this woman.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing great about her. She might be nice, she's pretty, she's kind of articulate, but when it comes right down to issues and knowing things like she should, she seems limited. And so I don't know. I don't think that there's anything to worry about.
I wouldn't say that.
Brad Little better take it for granted.
No, I totally agree with not taking it for granted. I've learned in the last 20 years of my life, never, ever say it's a done deal, because it isn't, buddy. There's too many factions out there that are going to twist the rope until it comes undone.
Well, you know, Brennan and Clapper and Comey and the rest of them, you know, Rosenstein, you know, in May, he's contradicted himself completely with this Steele dossier thing now being the major, you know, the reason why they got the FISA applications and, you know, to spy. You know, I don't know what the deal is with Brennan, but he is a vicious, you know, whatever. I'd like to say it, but they throw it off the radio forever.
No, they'd throw me off the radio forever.
Yeah, and forgive me, I wouldn't do it. But you see, that Brennan, the things he says,
yeah,
he is a vicious jerk. And it's like, sometimes the people that are like that have the most to hide. If Brennan and Clapper and some of these others, Rice, it's unbelievable the depth of I guess I can't even think of the word. They're so filthy.
Yeah.
This last administration was a hive of thieves.
Randy, I got to run, and everything you said I'd have to adhere to because I really worry about Clapper, for instance. There's a prime example of a man that I don't think has got all of his faculties left. He just doesn't act like he really has the elevator going to the top floor.
Well, to look at him, you wonder.
Yeah. I got to run, buddy. Thank you for your call. I do appreciate it. Thank you much. The thing I talk about on this radio program about my sponsors, when I do the ad-lib commercials, it's because I really, really, truly believe in them. I don't write copy down and go, see Jane run, and all this kind of stuff. I just say it from the way I feel. And I talk about people like Save on Shells with Anthony at 1027 Overland and Burley. I bought a camper shell from him, and I'll tell you, I bought more than one in the past. I've bought others, and I'll guarantee you this man has the best selection of new or used camper shells that can fit any custom truck on the road today. And believe me, the service is what you're going to appreciate. He takes care of his people. Please stop in to Save on Shells, 1027 Overland and Burley. The number to call, 312-1525. Oh, and by the by, our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental, they are busy, and they've got all the Doosan loaders. I mean, you want to have some big, strong, tough equipment. All the Doosan loaders, the big, heavy equipment by Doosan, can get the job done for you. Oh, yeah. Berry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan. They can tell you all about it. 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli. They can tell you all about the Doosan. And, of course, the Nampa location. I urge you, whatever you need for equipment rental and or purchases, get a hold of them today. Berry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. Calls are welcome and very much appreciated, so give us a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did I say 927-4587? Sometimes you say the same number 1,000 times a week, and then all of a sudden you question what you said. Yes, I did. There you go. Let me see. Ugly picture emerged yesterday. And guess who it was in the picture? And this picture was taken after the election of Hillary and Trump. It was the loser, Hillary Clinton, sitting down at a dinner with Harvey Weinstein. The real bad guy of Hollywood, the real bad guy of the motion picture business, and Hillary and Harvey were sitting together at a table, just enjoying each other's company. Two detestables sitting there over lobster. And I felt sorry for the lobster. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. You know, when you see Bernie Sanders and this Cortez woman and their rallies, it reminds me of the days when I used to go to the auto auctions. Now, I went to the auto auctions, and they had what they called the early bird drawing. And I thought, well, as long as I'm going to be at the auction, I just well get on the free stuff. So I would come and make sure I got in on that. And that's nothing more than what they're doing, is these people are coming because of the free stuff. Isn't that true?
Well, it's not just by the promotion or giving or attempting to give free stuff. It's the asking for their vote so they may be able to provide free stuff. And that's what's really insidious.
They're guaranteeing you that.
Pardon me?
They're guaranteeing you they're going to give you that if you elect them.
Yeah, that's just what I said, Keith, but there are no guarantees in this world. That's why it's a bunch of hypocrites.
Well, I know that's why it's all wrong, because they're saying something that they cannot deliver on in most cases.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really surprised. I really was, as to the personality of the rally, where I saw this Cortez come bounding out from behind the curtain. She's 28 years old, and she's wearing a pair of jeans and a T-shirt and jumping up and down like a high school cheerleader, and then telling everybody she's going to give them free this and free that and all of that. I thought, my gosh, at 28 years old, she has not got a clue.
I understand that she is a community organizer, just like Obama was.
Oh, gee goody, let's have another.
Yep. And that's where they learn.
Well, unfortunately, from the people I've talked to back in New York and Washington, D.C., and I mean this very unfortunately, there seems to be a growing trend of acceptance of socialistic values, and I don't want to play it down. Even though 56% of America says that Democrats are out of bounds with American values, my question is to you, Keith, aren't you scared that it's only 56%?
It sure does, because there's other people lurking out there waiting to get on the bandwagon.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I thought it'd be more than that. I was hoping it'd be like 90% of the United States say Democrats are out of bounds with American values, but it's only 56%, and that's fearful. I think we all should be very fearful.
You notice one thing, though, that Cortez and Bernie, they're not going to come out west here where the people are clear thinking and they have room to think about things and time to think about things. And they're not so doggone liberal.
Yeah, but wait a minute. When you say come out west, you better be more definitive, because absolutely I think she'll go to California. Absolutely I think she'll go to Portland and Seattle. Absolutely I think she'll go to other, like San Francisco and L.A. I wouldn't just encompass everything and say she'll never come out west.
Well, let's just say not too far out west.
Well, we'll see. Keith, thank you very much. Appreciate your call. God bless.
You bet.
What are your thoughts about all this that's going on with the very, very liberal concepts of let's get rid of capitalism? Let's get rid of this, that, and the other that has been a mainstay in this country, and let's just rewrite the whole thing on a socialistic attitude and personality. Woo! Scares me. Caller, I got to get a weather in. It'll be 60 seconds, not any longer. Be right there. Stay with me. Don't go away. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. They are very, very happy to help you with your hearing health. And they have two excellent doctors, Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell, that are working very hard to serving people with hearing loss of all ages and their families. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. And the number to call and make an appointment, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Expecting another warm day here in the Magic Valley. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Mostly sunny skies, expecting a high of 95, possible triple digits depending upon where you're at. Going to be a little bit breezy as well, winds out of the west, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy skies, expecting a low of 63 for Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 91, mostly clear for Wednesday night with a low of 60 by Thursday. Sunny and 90, and expect pretty much 90 degrees throughout the rest of the weekend. That's your weather forecast for 7th Ranch.
And thank you, Gina. Don't forget our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and schedule your hearing health evaluation today. Very important. Give them a call at 312-0957. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, sir. How are you today?
I am peachy wonderful. What can I do for you?
Oh, nothing. It's a segment you have coming up. Last week, this is a change of topic. Last week when you had the garden lady on, you were talking about the neighbor's dog coming over and all that kind of stuff, and what do you do to repel those? They make this nifty little deal that you hook up on your garden hose, and it's a motion sensor sprinkler, similar to a motion sensor light that when you approach a doorway or something, it turns the light on. Well, this little deal turns the sprinkler on. And cats especially hate water. Dogs don't like getting sprayed in the face. You can buy them on Amazon. They're cheap. They're easily replaceable, but they work. They're handier than a pocket on a shirt.
I am going to mention that to the lovely Miss Vicky at 9:30 this morning, and I'm certain there is one other way to repel, and it's called a 12-gauge.
Yes, with rock salt instead of BB.
There you go, buddy. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, yes, Wheels, did you say something? I guess not. Okay. Yesterday, as I scanned the dial around all the news services when I came in last night, I was absolutely taken aback by some of the CNN and MSNBC news people, and I use that term loosely, that are saying, and they were on numerous shows, and then I saw a clip this morning that solidified my worry and my concern. They were saying that Iran, now listen carefully to this, the country of Iran is more rational than the United States. In other words, it was another not so hidden thought by CNN and MSNBC to slam the Trump administration and Donald Trump in particular. And they said, honestly, Iran is more rational than the United States. You talk about slapping the face of America, and some of the soldiers around our country, soldier veterans that heard that remark, they jumped up and they sent various tweets and various comments thanking President Trump for being tough. They thanked him for talking the way he does and letting people know where America stands. And I listened to one of the vets this morning on the news. I think it was on at about 4:40 this morning. And this gentleman absolutely said, thank you, President Trump, for being a tough president and not letting the world walk on us. And I just wanted to comment on that. Where in the world, what is the matter with these people at CNN and MSNBC and other networks? Praising Iran as the most rational. They would like to obliterate our major ally, Israel. They would like to pick a fight with us, as you heard last week, and Trump said, enough, don't you ever threaten me again. And I admire Trump for saying that. And all these others that want to be hung up on the clothesline and dry like all other liberals, it's unbelievably stupid to think that they're not going to support this country, but they will give praise to one of our enemies, Iran, and say that they're more rational? What are your thoughts on this? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wow. And by the way, yesterday I had some calls after the program and just solidified to me, you people are really watching out there. I made the comment about some of these big hay trucks traveling down the roads with not any security on their loads, no belts tying down the hay, etc. Well, I had call after call for about a half an hour and people saying, well, I saw one too and I'm going to turn them in. Great, do it, because I do not want to see one of those great big ton bales teeter-totter off the back and hurt or kill someone. For the 5 or 10 minutes it takes to belt up and have safety and security for their load, it means so much more to save the lives. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Do not forget that if you're getting ready for a road trip, you want to be sure and stop in and see our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And they've got all the tires, all the tread designs for your cars, pickups, SUVs, trailers. I mean, they've got them all of them. And I urge you to stop in before you go on your road trip to make sure you can drive safely. And also check out the excellent brake service they provide and the front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. They want to make sure that you enjoy your road trip and come home safely. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Nobody better. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Stop in and see them today. All right, your turn. Come on, give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. While I'm waiting for your call, I want to also quickly hurry, call me. I've got time. I got about 3 or 4 minutes here. I want to remind you that coming up on, what day is that? Monday night at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds, of course, the big lawnmower races. That's third in the series that they're going to have, put on this time by the East End Fire Department. And they're going to start at 6 p.m., concessions open at 5:30 p.m., and that's going to be at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds Monday night, July 30th. Don't you miss it. Lawnmower races. I wonder if George Mass is going to have a lawnmower in that race. I tell you what, good old George. George called me this morning, by the way. I hadn't heard from him since he got back from his cruise to Alaska. And doing well. Thank you, George. Appreciate the call. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Morning, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Hey, I just barely turned on the radio, but I wanted to talk about one of your sponsors, if you don't mind.
Well, if it's good things.
Fix my ear.
Say that again, because I kind of overrode you a little bit. Go ahead.
I said your Mount Harrison Audiology, I just came back from there because I had a problem with my hearing aids. You know what? I'm so glad I can hear again.
Well,
I can't say enough of good things about your sponsor there. It's a great place to go to get your hearing checked and everything else.
Aren't they the polite, just great people over there, Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell? And they really care. And I'll tell you, Christine Pickup, she's got a lot of knowledge about sound and sound systems and hearing aids. I mean, sharp people over there.
Yes, sir. Very polite and very nice and very effective, and I appreciate it, and very quick on their time. They do the best they can with what they can, and I never had a complaint. So,
all right,
anyway,
well,
sir, you have joy the rest of your day.
Riley, that was really nice. I appreciate it. I wish more people would do that. You're just a A1 guy. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
Have a good one.
You know, coming up later on this morning, we've got Daniel Oliver and at 9:06, and I'm really looking forward to talking to him. He's going to be talking about our history books and how they are so biased to the left and liberalism. and he's going to be coming up at 9:06. And then at 9:30, we've got Vicky's Country Gardens, and then at 9:46, normally we do the Stotz Ag Minutes on tape, but this morning we're going to have live and direct down to Stotz Equipment, your John Deere dealer. Vic's going to be on the phone with us. And then at 10:06, Dr. History's going to be here in the studio. And at 10:32 this morning, the old clown and good guy, Greg Walden, talking about the Minidoka County Fair as we get ready to kick off the fair season. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Right now, I think what we're going to do is tell you that we've got Lunch Bunch coming up on this Thursday, excuse me, day after tomorrow at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. And our thanks again go out to Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Pomerell Place, and Denny's. And we're going to be there at 11:30 on Thursday for Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels, and he's going to get our guests ready to go for this next half hour. I'll see you back in 7. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning on this Tuesday, July 24th already. Holy cow, beautiful day outside. Going to be another warm one. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, this good word for Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Well, let's make a little checklist here for the great big family picnic. You've got all the food lined up. You got the ham. You got the salads. You got all the utensils. Oh, my goodness, you forgot to get the porta potties. Oh, goodness sakes, you better call right away. Western Waste Services, 734-6969. Always at your disposal, and they've got all the porta potties to serve you and all the family. So please get a hold of them today. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ark Animal Hospital. Oh, they're great guys and gals over there. Dr. Jordan, Dr. Bill, the whole crew at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. And they're a mixed animal practice. I mean, big animals, large animals, little bitty kitty cats, dogs, puppies, everything. They take care of your livestock and your pets. Please remember, a great place to go, Ark Animal Hospital for healthy animals, and the number 678-1177. And they always have warm hearts for the cold noses. Well, right now, let's go on the phone line, and I really am anxious to talk to this gentleman about the biased, liberalized changes in our historical history books that are being fed, if you will, to our children in the schools. Good morning to Daniel Oliver. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thanks. Good morning to you.
Daniel, give us kind of a thumbnail sketch about history books really taking on a liberal bias.
Well, there are a lot of American history books out there being used in American high schools, and many of them, probably most of them, have a serious liberal bias. And what we at the Education and Research Institute are doing is we're taking those history books one at a time, obviously, and putting a critique of them online so that students can go online and see for themselves what the problem is. We have we put the text of the textbook up on the left side of the screen, and we put a critique up on the right side of the screen, and a student who is assigned pages 455 to 463 to read can go online, type in the pages, and see if we have commentary on those pages, and then see our commentary on the textbook.
Daniel, what made it necessary, in your opinion, to you and the Education and Research Institute to take on this endeavor? I mean, there must have been some blatant misrepresentation of some of our history.
Well, I think people have been writing about it for, I guess, it's a couple of decades. The leading textbook, American history textbook for high schools, used to be Howard Zinn's American history textbook, and Howard Zinn basically was a communist. He wrote well, or I guess he wrote well, but his book was basically not the kind of book that you would want your children to read in a high school American history class. But that's been well known. People have written about that for years, I mean, maybe decades, but certainly 10 years, 15 years. So we knew the problem was out there, and so we decided, sitting around one day, to do something about it. So that's how this project developed.
All right, now I'm going to ask you, sir, if you could talk up just a little bit louder, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on my cell phone because my landline is down.
I understand.
Howard Zinn is dead, but his history book is no longer the most widely used history book. So we looked for another history book which we thought was widely used, and we came up with the American Pageant, which we believe is one of the 4 most widely used American history textbooks. So we decided to start our critique with that book.
I see. Now, give me some examples, and over at the station, if you can also please turn Mr. Oliver up a little bit when he's speaking, I'd appreciate it, Wills. Give us some examples of some of the liberalism that's being promoted over actual history in some of these books.
Sure. There's an awful lot. We have over 300 examples in the book, and let me take one that is marginally obscure because I can make a special point by using it. He begins by on his portion about President Grant. He begins by saying that Grant had no right to exist, and he quotes in the beginning of that portion on Grant. He quotes Henry Adams. Henry Adams is the grandson of John Quincy Adams, and he quotes Adams as saying Grant had no right to exist, and that's okay, I guess, to quote one Adams. But what he does not do, he does not quote Henry Adams' brother, Charles Francis Adams, who said very nice things about Grant. Henry Adams was unable to get a job in the Grant administration. He wrote these nasty things about Grant. The brother, Charles Francis Adams, had a different view of Grant. He had been a soldier under Grant in the Civil War, and he thought very highly of him. And so, but Bailey, he quotes the Adams who doesn't like Grant, and he fails to quote the Adams who does like him. It's not clear to me why he quoted either Adams on the question of President Grant, but having quoted one Adams, seems to me he should have quoted the other one. And that's something that seems to me both conservatives and liberals could understand.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have to be involved in Grant history and thinking Grant was either good or bad. Most people probably don't know anything about Grant, and that's fine. The point is to show Bailey's bias. Bailey doesn't like Grant for the reasons that he then goes on to describe, and so he quotes one brother, one Adams brother, but not the other one.
Right.
That strikes me as sort of prima facie evidence of a man who's trying to tilt the scales.
Well, when you say tilting the scales, Mr. Oliver, let me also ask you this. I'm a history buff, and I really enjoyed the Civil War, and even as far back as Texas independence with the Battle of the Alamo and the Battle of San Jacinto, etc. And it seems to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, that there was and is a whitewashing of our history so that it is more compatible with people from other countries and other races. Am I wrong?
Well, no, I think that's right. I think that multiculturalism is taking over, and so they color the history that way. But you see part of that in the Bailey textbook, where he says this is an interesting passage. Again, it's about Grant. Grant is interesting to use because it makes the case in a neutral way, as I say, because a lot of people don't know much about Grant. But he says Grant won the election with 214 electoral votes to 80 for Seymour, his opponent. But despite his great popularity, the former general scored a majority of only 300,000 in the popular vote. Most white voters apparently supported Seymour. An estimated 500,000 former slaves gave Grant his margin of victory. Well, now, that's rather extraordinary. That's a rather extraordinary thing to write, especially today, because Bailey tried to diminish Grant's rather large victory in the election. His electoral vote margin in 1868 was almost 3-1, and his 300,000 popular vote majority was one of the largest in U.S. history. And second, he seems to imply that there's something wrong with winning the election by winning the black vote. Grant favored progress for blacks, and he enthusiastically supported the 14th and 15th Amendment. But Bailey tries to make that a problem for Grant. So this was written a while ago, and to some extent before the multiculturalism became as prominent as today. But I think it shows the bias that creeps into these textbooks in one way or another.
Well, when we talk about the bias, who really, and I'm going to ask you again, Mr. Oliver, to talk up as much as you can into that cell phone. You have a very soft voice. Who really is screening these textbooks before they go into the hands of our students? Is there a board like yours, the Education and Research Institute, that checks these for bona fide fact or extreme bias? Who does the checking?
Now, I think the answer is almost certainly not. For the most part, states or school districts in the states decide on a textbook and purchase it. And perhaps in theory, the committee that reads them, but I very much doubt that is the case. And if there is a committee, I very much doubt they sit down and read it as critically as we have read this particular textbook. So my guess is that there's a lot of politicking and a lot of shenanigans that go into picking a textbook. It's a very lucrative business. Textbook writers tend to rewrite them frequently so that a new edition has to be bought. But whether the state board or school board that sits down and checks the particular text for bias, I very much doubt that.
You know, when we write about our history, whether it's good or bad, and whether we are the bad guys in a certain situation or the knights in shining white armor, why can't we just write history the way it is and let history record itself so that we can learn from our mistakes instead of having it jaded by a liberal approach? It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Well, I think that's exactly right. I mean, basically, when you write about Grant or any other president, the textbook writer should say what he did, and then let the students decide whether it was good or bad. Or if the other way to do it would be to say what he did, because that's history, and then the interpretation could be some people said it was good, some people said it was bad. You, dear student, make up your own mind, and that's a perfectly fair way to do it too. But instead, what you tend to get is the editorializing on one side but not the other.
Absolutely. And that's very well stated. One of my pet peeves is that today we listen to the millennials and we listen to the so-called educated get up on their soapboxes and denigrate the United States and our forefathers for what they did in the past. And I'll stop right there and I'll say to you, Mr. Oliver, how in the world can we denigrate our past when at that time, whether it's 200 years ago or 150 years ago, that may have been an accepted practice in our history at that time, and for us to look back and denigrate our forefathers today and condemn them, that's absolutely ludicrous.
It is ludicrous, and one fact that illustrates, I think, how ludicrous it is when you look at the number of immigrants who came to this country, decades ago. They poured in from Europe and other places, but largely in the beginning from Europe, indicating that however bad some current historians think America may have been then, most of the world thought America was absolutely fantastic, and they all tried to get here. So to look back and condemn it is ridiculous, because the world voted with its feet to come to America.
When you look at, let's say, from the Civil War to the turn of the 1900s and going into World War I and World War II and all the battles and conflicts since then, how do we guarantee for our younger generation that they're going to be exposed to the truth? I mean, if we don't have people like you and the Education and Research Institute helping us, how are we ever going to be guaranteed that we're going to be telling our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandkids what really happened?
Well, the answer, of course, is that we're not. It takes individual effort. It takes effort by the citizens to do exactly the kind of thing we're doing. Our text can be found at trueamericanhistory.us, but anybody can review a textbook and put it up on the web. The problem is advertising it, but anybody can write it and put it up so students can see it. But basically, I think it's a job for interested citizens, for parent committees, school committees, people who care. They can sit down and do exactly what we have done. There are lots of textbooks out there. There's no sense that we have a monopoly on this project. We do have, our name is trueamericanhistory.us, which I think is a good one, but anybody can do it. And I think our hope is, one of the reasons we did this project was we hoped other people would copy it. We hope other people would steal it from us and do it themselves.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Oliver, and you would know this more than anyone else. Do you feel that teaching history in our schools, and I'm talking about history that goes back to our forefathers of Washington and Jefferson, etc., with the writing of the Constitution, the greatest document ever written, do you feel that there's a laxity in our schools today more so than ever before, and these kids today are really not understanding what was given, what was provided, and the blood, sweat, and tears to give them this country today?
I think that's right. I think we do get very debonair about it. And it was a long time ago, and we live a life of ease, and it's easy to forget the struggle that, life before cell phones. Oh, my gosh, can you imagine life before cell phones? Well, can you imagine life before, electricity? It's very hard for people to put themselves back into the conditions, both physical conditions, living conditions, as well as political conditions that existed 250 years ago. So it's a tough job, and I don't think we probably make the effort on history that we should make. So people will understand that you can't take freedom for granted. It's a struggle, and it's a struggle every day, as Ronald Reagan said. The loss of freedom is only a generation away. Every generation has to worry about it, think about it, worry about it, and do things.
Well, I want to tell you that I'm very appreciative of you, Mr. Daniel Oliver, being on my program, president of the Education and Research Institute. And all I can say as a history buff and a history nut is keep up the good work, and God bless you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Isn't it something that, and I really appreciate that man coming on the program this morning, that they go through these various history books and find these glaring errors, and they're not errors. They're intentional, liberal bias in the textbooks, and basically not the truth, but someone's opinion, and it just really bothers me. From when I was in high school, and think about when you were in high school, excuse me, the history books and the way that history is being taught has changed dramatically, and not for the better. Not for the better. I honestly believe that most of the percentages of the young people today think that America, due to the fact of the way it's being taught, they are being taught that basically we are the bad guys. And the rewriting or the whitewashing of history has got to stop. And I think we need to tell the true story. Whether we're good, bad, or ugly, we need to tell the true story, and not one that's blemished by liberalism. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. It was really nice to have Joel Heward on the program the other day talking about a subject that a lot of people don't want to discuss, and that's death and dying and funerals, but it's a part of life. And I urge you to contact Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert for more information on the pre-planning of funerals. The number to call, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. And remember, they always treat you and your family with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Please get a hold of them today. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff at Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. And Joel also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Really, really good folks. By the way, on Thursdays, don't forget we have the Old Fishing Hole at 10:30. Josh, the extreme fisherman from Sportsman's Warehouse. I mean, he knows all about fishing. He is the guru at Sportsman's Warehouse, and they're located at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Sportsman's Warehouse with all your fishing and tackle, your hunting supplies, camping supplies, knives, food, guns, ammo, clothing. It's all there. And Thursdays at 10:32, old Josh is going to be out fishing someplace, and he's going to tell us all about it on the Old Fishing Hole, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. In just a very few minutes, we're going to get on the line with the lovely Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, and we're going to find out more about how your garden should be growing in all this heat and all the hot temperatures and everything, so stay tuned for that. And while I have a moment, I also want to remind you about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. They are having their red, white, and blue sale right now for the entire month of July, and that means that luxury vinyl flooring in stock on sale, floor coverings in stock on sale, carpeting in stock on sale, bedroom groups in stock on sale. Woo! Most everything 30 to 50% off, 12 months interest free. You better check it out. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. 459 Overland and Burley with Jeff and the rest of his very, very good crew with the red, white, and blue sale at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. Excellent going on right now at Lee's. Also want to remind you, too, that Let's Ride, we thank them. They got me started in the four-wheelers about 10, 12 years ago. Nick and the crew over there at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And listen to this, they've got 0% financing on ATVs. And they've got all the watercraft, and they've got the Honda Pioneer side-by-side. And then they've got all the accessories, all the clothing and the shirts, and they've got everything over there, along with the super service department to keep you running. All you need to do is just stop over to Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and this is true. This is where the fun is sold. You stop over and see those folks today. I think we're about ready in just a moment to go over to the lovely Miss Vicky, and I want to remind you again quickly before we do that we're going to have Lunch Bunch, Zeb's Lunch Bunch for the month of July. It's going to be at Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley on this Thursday. Now, don't forget, call somebody, get your friends and neighbors to come with you. I want to fill the place up, and we're going to start at 11:30. We eat lunch first, and then we give away all the different gift certificates from Walmart and Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Pomerelle Place, Denny's Restaurant, all of this and more, and a lot of fun at Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and starting time on Thursday at 11:30. We will see you then. All right, let's take right to it right now and say good morning to the lovely Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. You got the air conditioner plugged in?
You know what? I don't like air conditioning, and you probably think I'm weird, but it makes my throat act up.
Yeah. But it keeps the body from overheating.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had enough of the 90 plus. I got to admit, I like warm weather, but I've reached the point where I'm ready for some 80s and some 70s.
Mm-hmm. I was a big fan of the 70s and 80s. I thought it wasn't a problem for me.
No, there you go. By the way, we are about ready to kick fair season off, and the Minidoka County Fair is next week. And I have often wondered, and Wheels, ride the feedback a little bit on this, please. I've often wondered about how people can plan and get everything all ready and ship-shape to be judged when it comes to flowers and produce at the fair. That's kind of a touchy thing, isn't it?
It's a very touchy thing, and when you've got all this extensive heat and all of the bugs that we have had with the grasshoppers and the earwigs and the aphids and everybody trying to eat your stuff before you get it to the fair, that makes it even tougher. So if they're showing flowers, if they're going to enter flowers and things, make sure you go out and make sure they are bug-free. Right now, get your chemicals, get whatever you have to get done if you're using insecticidal soap or whatever. Get it on ahead of time so that you'll have new, fresh blooms coming out that are going to be healthy. You want to have everything watered up the night before, nice and heavy, so that the plants, the flowers, and that are open and full. Go out and pick your flowers the morning you are going in. Have cold water handy. Make a nice clean cut. Go right directly into your cold water with them. And go right, just a few minutes, as close as you can to the time that you have to go enter them. And you want to check your petals. You don't want any holes in the petals. You want, the leaves and that need to be fully opened up and nice and clean and a little bit of a shine to them. That never hurts anything. Some of that kind of thing. You got to check and make sure that you don't want the judge turning it over and saying, "Oh, what's these little green things on here? That's not neat."
I never thought about all this. I never thought about all this, and I can understand that it'd be really tough, time-wise, to leave early in the morning and get to the fairgrounds and make sure they look good.
Yes, they have to be kept as cool as they can be kept. That's why your flower buildings are all air-conditioned and kept quite cool, because this heat is tough on pets, especially when you freshly cut flowers. That's why I say don't cut them and lay them there and then go in and stick them in water. Have your bucket of water handy so that they're not shocking at all. You do a nice clean cut and go directly into your good, clear, cold water to keep them nice and fresh. Vegetables, you want to pick, again, the morning of the show, the morning that you have to enter in. Again, go out and pick early in the morning, have them watered up the night before, everything looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Take them in, wash them nicely, clean them up good, and only pick the best of the best. Again, look for blemishes, look for anything like that that's on them. Don't take anything with blemishes, like a bruise or anything like that. You want the best of the best to go into the show.
Well, if you can't take blemishes to the fair, my mom and dad would have never taken me.
That's my theory. I don't know how come they let me in, but they do. For some reason, they keep me over there.
There you go. Well, now, you've been a judge, haven't you, at the fair?
I have judged flower shows, yes.
Okay, well now, to me, that would be a lot tougher than judging livestock. Am I wrong?
I've judged livestock too, but judging flowers, yes. It is. You have a lot more areas that you have to look at. You have to be really. You get it down to the point to where, I mean, you've got 5 flowers that are all the same variety and all the same thing, and they're all looking. You have to get really critical to see who wins. I mean, it can be a fly speck on a leaf that sets it aside. I mean, it's that critical at times.
So when you have, like you said, 5 flowers that are the same kind, if you will, and you're judging, I mean, my goodness, if they've got the same color, the same texture, how in the world do you pick first, second, third, or whatever?
You, like I say, you look for any imperfection you can find. Color, sometimes your different fertilizers put out a more brilliant color on things, and so you look for the vibrant color. You look for any blemish on a petal, on a leaf, on a stem, how many flowers are on a stem, the quality. You just have to look for quality in everything. For me, judging a beef calf is a lot easier than judging flowers.
Oh, yeah.
A beef calf is, you know your qualities, situations, and that type of thing. But judging flowers, and then you've got the temperament factor too. That gets a little testy at times too. So,
well, no, whoa! Explain that to me. The temperament factor. You don't mean to tell me that some of these flower growers, they get a little bit testy, do they?
Just a little bit. I mean, they've worked hard to, and they, again, you're dealing on one person's opinion, and they sometimes don't agree with that one person.
So, how many times have you been threatened?
Oh, not too many. Kind of like judging horses, though, Zeb. I mean, everybody's like, well, why didn't you like my horse? Well, because his ear had a crop in it or something,
Absolutely.
It's the same thing in anything you're judging. It's one person's opinion. Doesn't mean that your plants or your flowers are not quality. Just have to go through the rigmarole of finding the very, very best.
When you do the judging, and what happens then? Do they leave the plants and the flowers there at the fairgrounds, or do they take them home? I mean, what happens? Because they're certainly not going to have a longevity factor there at that hot fairgrounds.
Well, like I say, they are in a building. The vegetables and the flowers are in an air-conditioned building that is set at a very cool temperature. And yes, they stay for the duration of the fair.
Oh.
You come in and they change out the water, and but you keep them looking as good as you can throughout the fair.
Now, I've got a dumb question because I'm not that familiar at any rate, of the judging of flowers, etc. But do you judge different classes, like all roses or all daffodils or something like that, or is there a combination?
You have individual classes. You'll have flowers that have, like roses, a stem of 3, a hybrid tea, which is a stem of 1. You'll have different classes like that in different flowers, like petunias and that. It'll be a stem, however many blooms is on a stem. Just different things of that nature. Individuals, different classes. You have perennials versus annuals. You have little kids classifications. Then you have your groupings, your arrangements, and things like that you judge too.
Holy smokes, there's a lot to be in a flower judge.
There is, and I did it for, I think, 3 years or something, and then I got to be relieved of that job, so consequently I was really kind of glad. It's a tough job. It's not that I don't like doing it, but it's a tough job, and you have to really be very critical, and I don't like to be critical of people's.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this aspect of it. In the livestock, and I know the horses, there are ways to make the horses look a little better at maybe perhaps some of their conformation weak points, with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, etc. Do people that grow flowers do the same things?
There's really not a lot that you can do. A flower is the flower. And other than possibly a little bit of a glossiness to the leaf or something to that effect. But there's not really much of anything you can do. You can't wire them up, because if they can't stand on their own, that's a judge's, that's where the judging comes in. No, beef, cattle, and horses, I mean, you take a decent beef steer, and with a good set of clippers, you can make him look like a grand champion.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, I've been in that business a long time, and yes, you can take a real dog and turn him into a grand champion with just a set of clippers.
Well, yeah, if he is a dog, you're already half there. He is a grand champion.
There you go. But I've seen, I mean, you can smooth out a belly on a steer or something. You can't do that with flowers. Flowers you have to present them in the very best possible way you can.
Holy
they have
cow.
to present themselves.
What about all the vegetables and everything else? I mean, do they bring them in a group, or do they have like one giant squash or whatever? I mean, how do you go about judging that?
The vegetables they're in different categories. Again, you'll have summer squash, so you'll have zucchini, and it'll go in as in the best looking, the biggest, the largest for the time frame, of the growing season. Beets are, again, you have the sugar beets that come in, the red beets, the edible beets, whatever you can get in there, but you definitely, it's just basically quality, again, on fertilization and how big the product is. I had some fellows that entered a few years back with an OS Cross cabbage that weighed, I believe they said it was 38 pounds.
Oh, my. Really?
And they won the blue ribbon on it.
I can imagine.
It didn't crack, but again, things like that on a cabbage. You get them up to where they're nice size, nice and clean, and not cracked.
Well, I would imagine that they all use Fertilome products from Vicky's Country Gardens.
Well, I would hope. Well, I've got as many people as I can doing that because it is a good product, and we do have products that can really make vegetables set on. And, there's fertilizers that do a lot better job than other fertilizers do. I mean, you've got to know your breakdowns and things like that on what the fertilizer is going to produce for you. So, but yeah, we do have an excellent supply with the iron and all the different fertilizers that you can mix together and get your trace minerals in there because everything needs just like people, they need a balanced diet.
Absolutely.
To produce a really good product.
Now, I would imagine also, Vicki, that here we are, July 24th already. Most everything is pretty close to harvest in the garden, is it not?
There's a lot of stuff coming off. Beets are getting ready. I just picked a batch of cucumbers the other day from a friend of mine and did a bunch of pickles up a couple of nights ago. So the cucumbers are setting on like crazy. Tomatoes are starting to set on. People are saying, yeah, I'm starting to get some good tomatoes setting on and that type of thing. We are having a little problem, though, Zeb, with this heat coming on, with all this heat, because the blossoms are not wanting to stay on those plants. You have to keep those blossoms on long enough to pollinate and set fruit. And the heat has a tendency to dry, as usual. Just like I was saying, picking flowers for the fair. You don't want anything that's dried out. And the blossoms on some of your vegetables can dry out before they pollinate.
I see.
And there is a product called Tomato and Pepper Set that is a spray that you can spray on those blossoms, and it will protect them and hold them on until they can pollinate and set fruit.
Okay. Now, Vic,
this is the time of year to use that.
All right. We've got a caller with a question quickly, and I'm down to the last 3 minutes. Caller, quickly, go ahead.
Okay, what I've got is a linden tree that we pruned back this spring, and when the leaves came out, as it goes towards the top, the leaves are curling, and they're not putting on the usual blossoms, pulp, or whatever you want to call it, and when you walk under it, you can feel like it's dripping on you. What's wrong with my tree, and what can I do?
Very good.
I'm thinking you've got a bad case of aphid in it.
Oh, really?
Yes, aphid causes things to drip. Because it's sucking the juices out of the leaves, and they will. I mean, check your tree, check the back of your leaves for aphid, and probably get it sprayed. Because I'm thinking you probably got a pretty good dose of aphid going on in there. Aphids have been hitting real hard right now.
So there's not a product that I can put on it. I need to hire someone to spray it for me.
If you in the spring, if you will put down the tree and shrub systemic in the spring, you will take care of that problem. But it would take long enough time now for that to get into effect that you're going to be better off to either spray it yourself or have someone come in and spray it if it's a big tree.
Okay.
All right, caller.
I'll do that then.
Thank you very much. It's time for the Vicky's Tip of the Week. Go ahead quickly.
All right, I think my theory is go out and pick a beautiful bouquet of flowers, put it in a nice vase, set it on your patio table. Pick some nice vegetables, slice them up, get some nice ranch dip handy, throw a T-bone on the grill,
Ooh.
and sit back with a nice cool beverage and enjoy and reap the rewards of your garden and your flowers. Sit back and relax and enjoy life.
What time am I supposed to be at your house tonight?
You tell me what time, Zeb, and I'll have the T-bone on.
All right. Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Beautiful lady with all the gardening needs right there. 438-5663. Vicky, God bless. Thank you for being on the show.
All right. Hey, thanks, Zeb. You have a good day.
All right. Thank you much. Wonderful lady right there, Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more by folks that are dedicated and responsive to your needs. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Number to call to make an appointment, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. You get a hold of them today. Right now, it's time for our weather, and our weather is brought to you by our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, retirement planning, payroll services, and they've got all the information on the new tax rates and deductions. You get a hold of them today, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Expecting another warm day here in the Magic Valley. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Mostly sunny skies, expecting a high of 95, possible triple digits depending upon where you're at. Going to be a little bit breezy as well, winds out of the west, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy skies, expecting a low of 63 for Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 91, mostly clear for Wednesday night with a low of 60 by Thursday. Sunny and 90, and expect pretty much 90 degrees throughout the rest of the weekend. That's your weather forecast for 7th.
And thank you, Gina. And don't forget our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And like I said, Leiden Crane got a hold of me the other day and let us know big changes in tax rates and new deductions and changes to the old deductions. You check it out for you, your family, and your business. Call them. Get a hold of them today. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, it's time to visit with one of my dear friends, and that's Vic over at Stoats Equipment, your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland and Burley. And we're going to have the Stoats Equipment Ag Minute, and they do make your life easier. Let's see if he's on the line. Good morning, Vic. How are you?
I'm great, Zeb. Thank you.
You know, it is hot, and that signifies when we get into midsummer, the end of July, going into August, we've got a whole bunch of parades and fairs, community gatherings and everything, and I'll bet you Stoats Equipment's going to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah, we try to be, and it's our second year here, and we've already done the Rupert 4th of July parade, Declos Days Parade, the Oakley Days Parade, and it's great to be part of such great communities and be involved with all the great people, and you know, it shows our community pride, so we really enjoy it, and we consider it a privilege to be part of it.
You know, how do you figure out on behalf of your dealership, the John Deere's, whether it's the harvesting equipment, the baling equipment, the big tractors, I mean, how do you figure what's going to go to the parade to give everybody an example of Stoats Equipment, the John Deere people?
Well, we always try to bring the latest technology. People love seeing the new 96 series RT tractors. You know, basically it's a quad track, and they love seeing the big stuff. You know, the kids come there and you can just see it in their eyes. And we probably had the best compliment we ever had at the Declo parade. But we had a gentleman, he's a farmer, and he said that when he saw that tractor come through, he said he was so moved, he stood up, took his hat off, and saluted. So that's, you know, there's a lot of pride that goes along with John Deere in the name, and it's a great tool for all of our great farmers, and we're very, very proud to be part of that.
You know, Vic, explain to me, I'm not a farmer. I figure if you can't saddle it and you can't rope it, what good is it? But I just bought a brand new tractor from you, and I am tickled. When you start talking about these quad track tractors, why? What's the benefit of having those? What do they do more or better than your regular tire tractors?
Well, there's a specific applications for all of our tractors. That's the thing with Deere. People don't realize how many different models, horsepowers, tire arrangements, track arrangements. They all have a specific application, and typically the big quad track tractors are made for just hard pulling. They do all of your heavy tillage. They do all your land leveling, disking, ripping, plowing. So they are the workhorse that get things done. And basically, the train of thought there is that you have a bigger footprint on the ground, therefore you have less compaction, and you also have better traction. And that's why a lot of people buy the track tractors, because they have a great purpose. They're kind of like having the Clydesdale in front of the old plows. You had the big workhorse right in front. And, even our tractors are horsepower. They're a ZEV, so you should be able to relate to that. It's just a lot more than one horse.
Absolutely. One thing we haven't done on the Ag Minutes presented by Stoats Equipment Company is the fact that we've never really sat down and talked about the history of John Deere itself. Give us kind of a thumbnail sketch, would you?
Well, John Deere is it's a great company. It's probably one of the only few tractor manufacturers that has not merged with another company or been bought out ever. John Deere started out, like I said, with the plow. He took a conventional plow and basically took an old saw blade, which was steel, and that was kind of the start for him. So he converted that, longer durability. It wore a lot better. It did a better job. The mud wouldn't stick on it, and so he started out from a very simple need, which is a plow tool, and then we had the Waterloo Boy tractor starting way back in the early 1900s to the most innovative and technology advanced equipment that we have today. So John Deere, the thing I like about John Deere, and I started out with fresh out of high school working for a Massey Case and Heston dealer, and you'll never hear me talk bad about any of the other equipment because I think they're all good. And I really think what makes a difference is your manufacturer's representation, how they back you, but most importantly is how your dealer takes care of you. So John Deere's a great name, but I had a nice gentleman at the dairy business telling me, hey, no matter what they all break down, he says what really makes a difference is the people at the dealership that takes care of them. And also John Deere's representation. When we do have a problem, they're there to help us and represent John Deere to get our customer going and be fair as possible.
I just love
years of innovation.
I just love the way you talk about various things in the industry, and you're very complimentary. And I also know that you're an old Western movie buff like I am. And a lot of times we see these old movies like the Glenn Ford movie, The Cowboys, with all the baled hay at the Chicago stockyards. When did all the balers and that type of concept really come into being back over 100 years ago?
Well, I mean, if you ever get a chance, you need to do the fly-in to John Deere to the factory, and they actually call it the Rust Palace. So it's basically built out of good iron, American-made iron, and it's rusty. But I tell you what, it's a beautiful place, and they have just all the history from the first plow all the way to the most modern combine and tractor. But balers, basically, it was a need, just like anything else, from going from, basically one guy out there with a scythe and out there, trying to cut his hay and trying to pile it up. And whenever they came out with the first baler, it was many years ago, but it's proven to be, as we're growing, we have more mouths to feed, we have more cattle, more horses. So we have to be able to adapt, and that's what John Deere did, and that's what all the other manufacturers have done as well.
Well, I tell you what, you're going to be busy for the rest of this month and into next month, and all the parades and the fairs and all the visiting with folks at the local fairgrounds, etc. Vic, I compliment you. You've got a great staff, friendly people, knowledgeable people, and you're blessed. Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer. Any final thoughts as we go into fair season?
I'll just be there. So we got Minidoka coming up first, and I'd like to see everybody there from July 30th through the 4th. And then we also have the Cassia County Fair and Rodeo coming up on August 11th through the 18th. And believe it or not, I'll be driving the Polar Express train from the Wilson Theater on a Farmall tractor, so I do drive red. Mike Christensen was nice enough to trust me, so I'll be driving that through the parade. So all the FFAs will be there as well, so we'll be represented and just be proud and to be part of it.
Store manager Vic, a great guy, whole staff, super nice people at Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland in Burley. They do make your life easier. Vic, God bless you, and thanks for helping us out this morning. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure, Zeb. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And that, of course, is your Stoats Ag Minute, brought to you by your John Deere dealer, Stoats Equipment Company at 119 Burley in, I got to say that all over again, 119 Overland in Burley. Thank you, and they do make your life easier. You know, I did buy a brand new tractor from them, and the service has been absolutely outstanding. I can't say enough about the great staff and everything else. They really work hard to make sure that your buying experience is one that's very pleasurable, and I appreciate that. He mentioned the Minidoka County Fair. Well, we're going to be talking to Greg Walden coming up in about another half hour or so about the Minidoka County Fair, but I will tell you the 70th annual Minidoka County Fair, Building Dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. It's going to be July 30th through August 4th, and next Monday it kicks off with the lawnmower races at 6 p.m. right there in the arena. Then I'll give you a quick rundown. Tuesday, they're going to have that Tiny Tot Gymkhana at the Rodeo Arena. And Tuesday, also, they're going to have the Charlie Jenkins concert right there at the fairground, starting at 7 p.m. That's going to be a lot of fun. And they're going to have antique engine shows, Lions Barbecue, all you can eat. Look out, that's going to be good. Wednesday and Thursday, they're going to have the Junior Rodeo next week. And then on Friday and Saturday, the Wild West Open Rodeo on Friday and Saturday, along with all kinds of great amenities right there at the 70th annual Minidoka County Fair. And you don't want to miss it with the theme this year, Building Dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. Well, he just walked in the door, and we're certainly going to look forward to having him on the air in about 7 or 8 minutes. And that's Dr. History with another great story today about something that happened in our history 100 years ago or whatever. And then at 10:30, don't forget we've got Greg Walden with the Minidoka County Fair coming on the program. So stay tuned. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels to take us up to CBS News. Have a great day. Oh, my goodness sakes. All you folks out there in Radio Land, stop what you're doing. Put the car over to the side of the road. Turn the key on just to the radio and listen to Dr. History, because here he is. Good morning. How are you?
Zeb.
I forgot to say the opening. I've only done this for 22 years.
Okay, go ahead.
Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And now, here's what I started to say a moment ago before I got stupid and forgot. Here's Dr. History.
Good morning again. Beautiful day.
Oh,
nice out there. Yeah.
Warm.
Yeah, the grain, they're starting to thrash the grain, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful crops.
And you have some people that you wanted to say hello to.
You know, I want to say hello to one of our listeners, Mrs. Draper, 91 years old. And she listens to our show every week. And so, Mrs. Draper, I hope to meet you and shake your hand. And I hope you continue to enjoy the show.
Well, isn't that... Has she called you?
No, I talked to her daughter-in-law.
Wonderful.
So I'm going to hopefully meet her and have
You're
going
to take over a dozen roses and a pint of ice cream, right?
And pie.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about a guy that, okay, I'm going to throw it out here. Have you ever heard of a guy named Dave Tucker? No, you haven't.
No.
I'll be surprised if anybody has.
Okay.
So, Now, so this took place over in northeast Oregon, and not very far across the Idaho border.
Northeast Oregon.
Yep,
Okay.
just kind of over towards Pendleton. And
Up there by Joseph?
Yeah, exactly. Joseph.
Really?
Yes, that's where we're going to talk about.
Oh, that's a beautiful part of the state.
Oh, okay. We're going to talk. You'll know exactly where we're at.
Okay.
So anyway, Dave Tucker, he's our main man on this story. He was an upstanding citizen in northeast Oregon ranching community of Joseph. That's where he was. And so here's the question. How could the vice president of the Joseph State Bank be anything else? Okay. Before that, he was a respected businessman, rancher, and farmer. And before that, he had worked tending and shearing sheep until he earned enough money to start his own sheep and cattle business. So what more respectable of a background could a man be raised in the wild of Wallowa County? I mean,
there you go.
What a outstanding individual,
well,
right?
I'm telling you, he should have been the Chamberman of the Year.
Well, then we're going to go back a few years.
Ah.
So, now, if you were to have walked into the Joseph State Bank to do business with Mr. Tucker, you would have found him to be honest and forthright, a pleasure to work with. But when you shook his hand to seal the deal, you would probably notice that his trigger finger was missing.
His trigger finger.
That's because
you don't mean.
That's because Dave Tucker had gone respectable. He'd been a bank robber whose finger had been blown off during a getaway shootout. The bank he robbed 32 years earlier in 1896 was the very one which he had just been made vice president.
Wait, stop the bus for a minute. You're going too fast for me and the lady that loves to listen to you. You mean this guy robbed this bank? And then 32 years later, he ends up being the hierarchy of the bank?
So we'll go
He's
right.
got connections.
We'll go right back, okay? So Wallowa County, the late 1800s, was a lot different from the one Tucker lives in now, or did. His family came from the Wallowa Valley in 1877, and Dave was one of several boys in a large family of brothers and sisters. His father, a veteran of the Civil War, settled his family on a homestead along what they call Prairie Creek. Mm-hmm. You're familiar with that?
I am.
Okay. So this was wild country in those days with lots of wilderness and few roads. Farming, cattle and sheep ranching, timbering were the main occupations. And the setting and the landscape were pretty much just like they are today.
Yeah.
There's not been that much change if you drive across there. But, you know, the jagged peaks of the Wallowa Mountains, the Wallowa Valley, I guess it's just absolutely
beautiful up there.
So a great place to start a ranching operation. Yep. Well, Dave Tucker attended school for a short time and regularly worked with his dad on the ranch. And when his dad could spare him, he worked for another rancher, herding and shearing sheep. And when he sheared sheep, it was said that he carried with him a Bible that was given to him by a former schoolmate and a sweetheart by the name of Minnie, whom he would later marry.
Oh, sounds like a great guy.
It is. You know, this could be a movie.
Yeah.
All right. So let me spit this out. Some contemporaries have written that the Tucker boys could be what you could say a little bit of trouble. Now, you know, just let your imagination go there. Dave had a little trouble early on when he was charged with stealing a calf, a charge he vigorously denied but got sentenced to a year at the Oregon State Penitentiary. So a young man, probably still in his teens, but out of prison, he was mad, he was bitter, he was resentful, gave him a poor attitude towards life. But nevertheless, when he got out of jail, he went back to working in the sheep camps for these other guys. Well, now let's move ahead a little bit. Summer of 1896, Tucker was now 25 years old. A couple of drifters wandered into the Wallowa Valley from Idaho. These guys was named, one was James Brown, the other one was Cyrus Fitzhugh.
Never trust a guy by the name of Cyrus.
Or Fitzhugh.
Wasn't the guy in that movie that was in that cage, they didn't trust him because he'd eat and kill people, Cyrus?
I don't know.
Cyrus the Virus?
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Telling you.
Okay, so keep in mind, Brown and Fitzhugh, two bad guys, drifted into the area. Well, after visiting for a short time, the men took jobs in a local sheep camp, and this is probably where they met Dave Tucker. Okay, so now there's three of these guys. Dave Tucker, who's kind of been in trouble. These other two guys that are definitely trouble. All right. Now, somewhere during the course of their long hours of working, Fitzhugh suggested that they rob the First Bank of Joseph.
Just offhandedly.
Yeah. Hey, why don't we go do this?
Yeah.
Fitzhugh claimed he had to have experiences in doing this sort of thing, and he said he'd robbed a payroll in Montana, but he also lied about some other things. He said he'd been a part of the McCarty gang that held up the bank in Enterprise in 1891. Basically a liar, okay? Tucker felt he had to score to settle with society, so he told Fitzhugh and Brown to count him in on robbing the bank.
Dumb.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are, 1896. The town of Joseph had only been an official town with a post office for about 16 years, so still very much just growing.
Yeah.
But it was a typical remote frontier community of the day, had a handful of buildings, including, of course, a bank and several saloons, and even in such a small ranch town, robbing a bank would require a little bit of advanced planning. So the three men began to meet in a saloon owned by a guy named John Martin, and John Martin had a bartender by the name of Owenby. Okay, so now we got two more guys, Martin and Owenby. Okay, so they're in the bar. They somehow they got Martin and Owenby to join with them to rob the bank.
Oh, they got 5 now.
Now they've got 5. So it's hard to say why the other two men joined, because Martin, the saloon owner, was actually a successful, well-known businessman in town, and business was supposed to be good. Owenby, the other guy, actually had been a deputy sheriff at one time, and he had a wife and 3 children. So why in the world they would want to join with these 3 renegades?
Well, tell us.
Okay. So finally, after a lot of meetings around a bottle of beer and glasses of whiskey,
you see what that'll do to you.
It will.
Have a beer and rob a bank.
Yeah. So they were ready for the execution of their plan. It was set for October 1st, 1896. They estimated they would take off with about $6,000, which was a pretty good sum, assuming that the bank would be holding cash brought in by ranchers from the sale of their season's lamb crop. So, they'd sold their crop, and the bank got the money. So, as the date approached, Owenby, the guy with the wife and 3 kids, he started kind of getting cold feet.
Yeah.
He's thinking, I've got a wife
he
and
got
3
smart.
kids,
Yeah.
and he kind of started sympathizing with the ringleader, Fitzhugh, but Fitzhugh basically said, you know what, you're in this. If you decide you're not in this, you may not live to see another day.
Ooh.
So, that was kind of the way things are heading out right now.
Yeah.
So reports say that October 1st, 1896 was a nice, warm autumn day, clear blue sky. Now, inside the bank was a guy by the name of J.D. McCulley. Now, he was a cashier at the bank and a clerk at a store across the street. Now, picture this. Okay, store across the street, bank, opposite.
Okay.
So he was a clerk at the store, but he also helped run the bank.
So what did he do, run across the street all day long?
He did, yeah.
I see.
He'd been dividing his time between the 2 businesses all day long. He'd locked the door of the bank when he left, and unknown to him that afternoon, Dave Tucker was just kind of hanging around in the street outside the bank, just kind of watching, kind of waiting for McCulley to come back to the bank and open the doors.
I see.
So, about 2:30 in the afternoon, McCulley came across from the store, unlocked the bank door so he could attend to some customers. He probably just watched, if people showed up, he'd just go over and help them out.
Sure.
So that was just what Tucker had been waiting for. He walked across the street and then back again at a predetermined signal for Fitzhugh and Brown, the 2 bad guys.
Oh, yeah.
They were mounted on their horses, and they were watching from a distance down the street. They saw that the bank doors were open.
Look out.
Here we go. The bank was ripe for robbing. So Fitzhugh and Brown rode down the street, jumped off their horses, tied them to a hitching post, ran into the bank with the 6 shooters in their hands. They wore bandana masks and put black soot on their face to try to disguise them, which, usually never worked anyway. But
no.
Anyway, one of them had a shotgun. Inside, the cashier, McCulley, they found 4 bank customers, 3 women and a man, and they didn't have any weapons. So here we have McCulley, the bank guy, 4 customers, and Brown and Fitzhugh.
Yeah.
Okay. So McCulley was in the bank vault when the outlaws came in, and they were so quiet he didn't hear them. And when he came out, he just thought they were kidding around until they started pointing their guns at this guy.
That's not kidding around.
No. They said, throw up your hands, and one of the masked men ordered, and he said, again, McCulley still thought it was kind of a joke, but his first reaction was to laugh. He thought,
he laughed?
This isn't really happening. But as he got a little better look at the guns and the disguised grim faces of the guys, realized this was a bank robbery.
It was for real.
It was for real.
Yeah.
Well, so outside, Tucker stood at the bank entrance with his revolver drawn, and he would stop anybody that was passing by and ask them, say, don't run, don't sound the alarm. So you got this. He's outside stopping people.
And these were his neighbors.
Yes. Yeah. So now Owen B., the guy, the wife and 3 kids, he was with Dave Tucker standing outside. But he didn't have a gun. He didn't have anything. So the saloon owner, John Martin, he just disappeared. We don't know what happened.
He's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
He left the gang.
Yeah. So before long, Tucker and Owenby had kind of a small crowd held hostage in front of the bank.
Really?
Now, that's not going to attract attention, right?
No, not really, unless the CBS News crew shows up.
So inside, the bad guys, Fitzhugh and Brown, were stuffing cash and gold into a sack, threatening McCulley with death if he tried anything funny. Well, in about 10 minutes, the 2 robbers had found all the cash and the gold they could get. And actually, instead of $6,000, it was only $2,000, which, that's not a bad payday.
And you say they were in the bank about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is, to be gathering all that up.
Yeah.
So they moved toward the door and actually used McCulley as a shield. Well, once outside, the bandits got something they hadn't factored in, a shootout.
Oh,
so here we go.
Here we go.
Now, despite Tucker and Owenby's efforts to keep a lid on the robbery in progress, the unusual situation of a crowd standing around in front of the bank obviously was arousing suspicion among the townspeople.
You think?
I mean, the people around are looking, hey, wait a minute, there's 2 guys, a guy with a gun and some people in a,
What was your first clue?
Yeah. So one man who quickly figured out what was going on was a rancher, and standing behind his wagon in front of the McCulley store, which is just across the street, he picked up his Winchester rifle and waited for the outlaws to show themselves outside the bank. As they came out the door, he started shooting. Another man started shooting from an upstairs window of a nearby building. Things were not looking good for the robbers.
So this robbery is about ready to go amok.
It's pretty much. Now, McCulley, the bank guy, he dived to the ground amid all the bullets ricocheting all around him. So Brown, the bad guy, he was hit before he even got off the steps of the bank.
Really? Kill him?
Fell backwards, landed in a sitting position with his head and shoulders propped against the bank wall, dead.
Yeah.
All right. Now, bullets were still flying around. The other bad guy, Fitzhugh, and Tucker, of course, they were kind of in a little bit of a shock, a little confusion going on.
Well, can you imagine?
So they started just shooting wildly, but they didn't hit anybody. They just started shooting.
Yeah.
So Brown, who was dead, had been carrying the bag of gold, the cash, and it now lay by his body in the path of the gunfire. So Fitzhugh, the other bad guy, without hesitation, he grabbed the treasure, still shooting his 6-shooter, dodging bullets meant for him. He ran to his horse. Now, at this point, the town blacksmith tried to grab the horse away from the outlaw, but Fitzhugh knocked him aside, and holding on the saddle horn, Fitzhugh hung on to his horse, which, this has got to be kind of funny. The horse was bucking up and down as it took off. You know how some horses will do.
Well, yeah, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, and so, but he managed to get in the saddle, reined his horse to the east, and sped out of town with a sack of loot slung over his shoulder. Well, on his way, he encountered a man walking down the street, a Southerner who had fought in the Civil War on the side of the Confederates. Well, Fitzhugh shot at his feet to scare him, but it just made the man uncharacteristically mad that he was getting shot at.
Imagine? How could anybody ever get mad if you had your feet shot at?
Well, and then he yelled at this guy, he says, as he's leaving, he says, tell those people back there they can put their hands down now.
You're kidding.
Well, meanwhile, okay, back at the corner of the bank.
Yeah, back to Tucker.
Yeah, so things were still pretty hot. Dave Tucker had taken a bullet in his right hand, causing his gun to go flying, and hopelessly mangled his right index finger, the one that was missing.
Yeah.
So, unarmed and bleeding, Dave Tucker ran, okay? Not on his horse, he just ran. So then from the post office came a local resident with his shotgun.
Shotgun?
He fired at Tucker as he was running, and pellets caught him on the backside. Well, Tucker kept going and staggered, but the crowd finally caught up with him. He only got a couple of blocks. I mean, how far can you go with no finger and buckshot in your derriere?
Are you asking me? I've never had the
opportunity.
Opportunity, yeah.
Okay. Well, so anyway, bartender Owenby, the guy with the wife and 3 kids, he kind of slipped off, didn't get hurt in the confusion. He just got away. Well, he and John Martin, the saloon owner, were arrested when Tucker confessed to the crime, and he said, yeah, these 2 guys were in on it. Well, Fitzhugh, the other guy...
No, wait a minute. Fitzhugh's the guy that got away on the horse.
He got away. He could not be found. It's been speculated that he stayed briefly at a friend's ranch near the Imnaha River and then crossed the Snake River into Idaho.
Oh.
So, anyway, April 21st, 1897, Dave Tucker received a 7-year prison sentence at the Oregon State Penitentiary for his role in the robbery. Owenby, the guy with the wife, got really a lenient penalty because he wasn't armed, he didn't have a gun, and he very less active in the role of robbing. But yeah, so he still had to serve some time.
I see.
John Martin, actually hired a Union County lawyer named Carroll for several $100s, and he was acquitted.
Really?
So
he got off?
Yeah, he got totally off.
Okay.
And now James Brown, the guy that was dead, obviously,
he was off too.
He was off too. He's resting comfortably in what they call the Hurricane Creek Cemetery.
There you go.
Which I assume is by Joseph.
But what about Fitzhugh?
Okay.
Don't leave me hanging.
Cyrus Fitzhugh and the $2,000.
I told you can't trust the guy named Cyrus.
Never located. Never located.
No.
So Fred Wagner received a gold watch from the First Bank of Joseph for his role in shooting Tucker. But while in prison, Tucker had a lot of time to mull over his mistakes.
Yeah.
He was determined to use his time wisely. He dropped the tough attitude, eventually become a model prisoner and a trustee. He was actually released after 4.5 years for good behavior. He returned to his home in Wallowick Valley to try to rebuild his life. Now, that takes guts to go back.
I was going to say right there, to go home to where he caused the problem, that was something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, okay, so you got to hand it to him. He started working once again for a sheep grower.
Yeah.
In a few years, he saved up enough for a grub stake to buy a small number of lambs that he eventually got a herd of sheep and a 1,200-acre ranch.
Wow.
He married this childhood sweetheart, Minnie, that I mentioned earlier. His fortunes grew, his business prospered. He became known for his kindness and generosity that he showed to his neighbors. It was said, quote, no one ever came to Dave Tucker for help that didn't get it. What a turnaround.
Wow.
He hired those who needed work and gave a few bucks to those who were broke or in bad way. He had literally transformed his life. So this full and remarkable circle was completed in 1928 when Dave Tucker was elected vice president of the Joseph State Bank.
You're kidding
bank
me.
that he had robbed for $2,000 3 decades before.
Wow.
So anyway,
I've got some questions there.
Okay, let me just finish it.
Oh, I thought you were done.
Almost.
Okay.
Anyway, years later, sitting in his bank office, Tucker must have sometimes kind of looked around, at that and thought about that beautiful day back in 1896 and wondered how he'd ever come to be standing before the bank door with a revolver in his hand.
Yeah.
And he might wonder, what became of Cyrus Fitzhugh and the $2,000. And maybe he recalled with a little anger, a little bitterness that Fitzhugh got away. They never found him, and they never found the loot, and also that he was missing a finger.
Yeah.
But all these years later, Dave Tucker and not Cyrus Fitzhugh ended up with the real treasure being a good reputation.
Holy cow.
Loved and honored by the people of the community.
Do a little research for me. We've got a quick call. We're going to take that in just a minute. But do a little research for me. While you were telling that story, it dawned on me about Joseph, Oregon, and they have a PRCA rodeo up there, a good one. And I think, if memory serves me correct, they have the Harley Tucker Memorial. And I believe that Harley Tucker was a direct descendant of this Tucker that you're talking about.
Well, he was still alive in 1928.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm wondering if that couldn't be the same family.
I will see what I can
check
find.
on that for me. Caller, good morning. Quickly, we got 1 minute left. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I wonder if there's going to be a place for a retired car dealer.
I would tell you where that place is, but it sounds tacky on the radio.
So, what I really called about was I am really fascinated by Diamond Field Jack. Have you ever done that show? And if you haven't, would you?
I have, and let me just tell you, there's a book out by a Mr. I think Max Black. And that is the best book I have ever read on Diamond Field. And I know that you can get it over in Rupert. I just saw it yesterday in a store just down from Doc's
I got it.
Pizza.
I've got it right here.
Yeah, if you want to buy
right here.
If you want to buy the book, it's in that place where they make signs and T-shirts and everything. Just slip over there. It's just a few doors down from Doc's Pizza, and they have that book there.
Max Black, a longtime Idahoan, former state legislator, and insurance agent. He spent years on this book.
That is a great book on,
it is.
On Diamond Field.
I got to run. Keith, thank you for your call.
You bet.
Thank you. Would you really check on that for me? Because all of a sudden, when you mentioned that name Tucker, and it kept eating at me for a few minutes while you were doing that story, and Joseph, Oregon, I believe, has the Harley Tucker Memorial, and I believe that he's a son of this Tucker that you're talking about.
He's got to be.
Yeah, you check that.
I will, definitely.
Wow. See, you did it again. And next week you're going to bring roses and ice cream here, too.
You betcha. Just like I always do.
You liar, you. Anyway, Dr. History, God bless you. Thank you so much.
You bet. You have a good day.
I always enjoy having you on the program. Interesting story this morning. Hey, real quick, I want to remind everybody about our sponsors of Cassia County School Days that takes place on Thursday at 10:10. And they are, of course, A Child's World at 1308 Overland and Burley. Don't forget, they've got everything over there. I mean, man alive, all the clothing, all the baby furniture, all the games, puzzles, toys, everything. You stop in and see them today at Child's World at 1308 Overland and Burley, along with Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland and Burley. Number to call for your outpatient surgeries, and they can save you money, 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County at 10:10 on Thursdays, right here at Zeb at the Ranch. I'll be back in about 4 minutes, and we'll send it over to Wheels.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
You know, the fair season is upon us, and there are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life over at Minidoka County Fair, and they're going to be celebrating their 70th annual Minidoka County Fair with the theme Building Dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. And they start next Monday, July 30th, and go all week long until August 4th. With us on the telephone is one of the nice people over there at Minidoka County Fair, Greg Walden. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great, Zeb. What do you know today?
Well, I tell you what, it's such a treat and a pleasure to visit with you about a fair that you know very well and you really appreciate, and that's the Minidoka County Fair. Kind of give us a thumbnail sketch. How did you get involved with the Minidoka County Fair?
Well, Zeb, it started years back. My kids kind of started showing livestock over there, and then I actually took a job there for a while. It was the fairgrounds maintenance janitor extraordinaire that for a while, and it just, you know, the community support, the people that come out to that fair, it is very near and dear to my heart. I mean, I've been around, I rodeo clown and go all over the place, and that one is still probably one of my top picks to go to and be involved in, you know.
Greg, you know, small county fairs, I hope they never, ever die, because they are the backbone of all the fairs across the great United States. Back in my home state of Wisconsin, where I was born and raised, they had a small county fair called the Jefferson County Fair. And there seems to be more personality, there seems to be more try, and there seems to be a cohesiveness of all the people getting along and working together. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, we've got kids doing projects not just livestock. I mean, there's sewing, cooking. The 4-H program just keeps growing every year. We got the FFA program that's growing over there. We've got our open rodeo, our junior rodeo. I mean, we want to put on a fair for the community. We've got covered picnic tables for people to sit at. And that's probably the neatest part, Zeb, is just walking around in the evening and everybody just sitting around visiting, people that you might not see until fair every year. And it's just a good place to get caught up, good food, good people, and a great time.
Absolutely. Well, now, starting next Monday at 6 p.m. in the arena, you're going to have the world-famous lawnmower races. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, those are great. Now, if people haven't ever been to a lawnmower race, this isn't your normal everyday lawnmower. I'm going to tell you, Joe Phillips and the boys over there, they like to soup them up. I mean, when you got to put wheelie bars on a lawnmower, you know it's going to be a good race.
Well, how do they run the races? Do they have kind of preliminary heats and then take the championship, or what is it?
Yep, so there's different classes that they put on, and you sign up there beforehand. And this is actually the third one in the series that they've been putting on all summer long. So I know there's some pretty good prizes, some great big trophies they're giving out. Joe does a great job putting that on. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't ever watched one, you need to come out and check it out.
All right, now Tuesday next week, July 31st, that is going to be a busy, busy day. There's all kinds of things going on. Tell us the schedule.
You know, Tuesday is full. We got pretty much all the kids are coming in that day. We'll start getting the little livestock on Monday. Most of the livestock's coming in on Tuesday. We've got the judging going on for all the open class stuff. The buildings will start opening up that afternoon. They'll have a dairy show, the Tiny Tot Horse Gymkhana, and don't forget, this is for, here it goes, Zeb, right here. Perfect example of a free PMT night at the fair with Charlie Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
A free concert, Zeb. What can say community support and, you know, people wanting to be around than a free concert to come to?
Well, absolutely. And then I understand also, isn't there going to be horse races also on Tuesday?
No horse races. They've got I think there's some horse showmanship or something like that.
Oh.
But no racing going on.
All right.
But only, it's at the racetrack. The concert is at the racetrack.
I see. I understand now. So that's at 7 p.m., the PMT putting on the Charlie Jenkins concert. And then along with the Tiny Tot Gymkhana, that's all happening on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, August 1st, you've got something that appeals to a lot of the farmers in this area, the Antique Engine Show.
Yes. So those guys will all roll in. They'll have the antique tractors and the engines going there. And that's pretty neat, Zeb, to see that kind of stuff still working. Those guys put a lot of time and effort into those old machines. And I'll tell you what, some of those run better than the new ones.
Absolutely. Now, Wednesday, the Lions Club is going to put on an all-you-can-eat barbecue. Boy, that's not safe, is it? Because you and I, we could clean them out.
Well, you know, I got to kind of stay away from that, Zeb, because I do have a tendency to overindulge myself. Part of the problem is that's such good food. Those Lions guys do a great job. They've got that corn on the cob, and I mean, yeah, it's a great time. And again, it's underneath the pavilion. It's all shaded. They'll have tables set up for you to sit and visit. I mean, it's a good time.
Absolutely. Now, after the barbecue's over, there's something called a Fair Board Social. Tell us about that.
Yep. Once again, something for everybody, Zeb. The Fair Board wants to support the community because the community supports us. We put on a free ice cream social and Dutch oven cobbler.
Ooh.
It's not just ice cream. It's Dutch oven with ice cream, or without, or just ice cream. However you want it, we'll dish it up.
Well, it sounds delicious to me. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, you're really going to have the kids come out and show their stuff in that junior rodeo. Tell us all about that.
You know, Zeb, we started that junior rodeo here a while, oh man, probably 7, 8, 10 years ago, even something like that now. It's been a long time. That thing has grown and grown. We used to try to cram it all into one night, and it has grown so big. We've got so many junior kids coming out. We switched that to 2 nights. So it's Wednesday and Thursday night, 7 o'clock in the rodeo arena. We'll have that junior rodeo. And you want to see some good rodeo hands coming up, this is the time to do it.
Absolutely. Well, then Friday and Saturday are left on the calendar here with the Wild West Open Rodeo. Greg, this is going to be a dandy.
Yeah, Zeb, we've got an open rodeo. We put that on. We've got mutton busting starting at 7 o'clock. Rodeo kicks off at 7:30. We've got the queening. We've got the grandma queen on Saturday night. It's a good old-time fashion hometown rodeo. Come watch your neighbor rope. Come watch your nephew ride a bull. There's always somebody you know in this hometown open rodeo.
Absolutely. Now, tell us a little bit about the Man Up Crusade on Friday night, where you'd like everybody to wear purple.
Yeah, so Man Up Crusade, they're based out of Boise, I believe. They come in, it's for domestic violence and things like that. We've supported that for quite a few years. And, yeah, they'll be there handing out. You can buy some stuff if you want. But, yeah, wear your purple shirt. Come support that and help those people out.
Now, during the day on Saturday, let's talk a little bit about the 4-H and FFA Buyers Livestock Auction, Greg. Tell us all that we need to know about that issue.
For sure. So the kids work hard all year long. They bring them to the fair. They get placed. And Saturday morning, we have a huge community support. People come out. Businesses come support. These kids got these animals clear through the summer. They've worked hard. They're good finished animals. We start that sale at 9 o'clock sharp on Saturday morning. Now, if you're willing to come spend money with us, we're willing to feed you. So we've got a free lunch for the buyers when you get there. We're doing pulled pork sandwiches. We got some chips, water. We'll have kids running that food around. You don't even have to get out of your seat. We want to get you there, get you some food in your belly, and just help those kids out.
Absolutely. Now, you do have something really unique over at the Minidoka County Fair. You have your 2018 Rodeo Royalty, but then you also have the Grandma Queen. Tell us how that came into being.
That's been around longer than me, Zeb, but I'll tell you what, there is nothing neater than seeing people send in those letters and nominate these ladies. You've been in our fair office, Deb. You've seen all those ladies in that wall, and those ladies have earned their spot. They sit there. They have been involved in the rodeos. They've been involved in 4-H. They've been involved in the fair. These women are upstanding people in our community, and I'll tell you what, it is an honor for us to honor them.
Absolutely. Well, Greg, I think we touched on all the different facets of what's going on at the Minidoka County Fair. Tell us a little bit about the admission charges or anything else. How much is it going to cost somebody to go to the Minidoka County Fair?
You know what, Zeb? We don't charge to get into the fair. You just come to the fair. We do have some events that I can run through real quick. The lawnmower races are $5 to get in or $15 a family. The PMT concert, like I said earlier, that's free. Come on out. Come watch that for nothing. The Lions Barbecue is $10 for adults, $5 for kids 6 and under. The Junior Rodeo is tickets for that are $6 and 6 and under is free. The Open Rodeo, adult tickets are $8, kids 6 to 12 are $5, and 6 and under is free. Or we do a family pass that's 2 adults and 4 kids for $30.
Wow.
There's not a whole lot you can do for that kind of money. And I'll tell you what, we've got some of the best food vendors there. Like I said, we've got covered picnic areas. You just come out. It's a great time.
Absolutely.
The people are super. You can't pass up a fair like this.
Absolutely. I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but we'll do it twice if we didn't. Did we mention the antique tractor pull at 1 p.m. on Saturday?
Yeah, we did miss that, Zeb. They are doing the show on Wednesday. They'll just have everything there, but they are doing the tractor pulls. They'll actually hook those buggers up, and they'll go to town and start pulling some sleds over there on the racetrack.
Well, you know, Greg, you've been involved, and all the people on the fair board, all the help, all the people behind the scenes. It's a wonderful county fair, the 70th annual Minidoka County Fair with the theme Building Dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. Greg, anything you want to say before we wrap it up here this morning?
I think we got it all, Zeb. I really encourage everybody to come out, come support these kids, whether they're rodeoing, whether they're in the fat stock sale. I mean, we've had huge amounts of support from our businesses, and I'll tell you what, I want to take a minute and thank those businesses for their support and encourage them to come back. We couldn't do it without them.
Well, Greg Walton, I thank you for being on my program. You do an outstanding job of covering all the different events. We'll look forward to seeing you over there. God bless you, man, and come back and talk to us again.
All right, Zeb, you have a great day. We'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. The people over at that fair are so nice and so helpful, and I urge you to go over there and be a part of the Minidoka County Fair. Just really, really a nice fair and a lot of personality over there. Building dreams at the Minidoka County Fair. We're going to have a weather forecast, and then I would urge you to give me a call. We'll talk about any subject matter you want to talk about this morning after we have our weather forecast brought to you by Scarrows Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to scarrowsmeats.com. Oh, my goodness, all the meats. They've got the marinated pork ribs. If you're barbecuing this summer and you love to get outside in the backyard and barbecue, you're going to love those pork ribs for only $1.99 per pound. Or the St. Louis style, most of the bones removed. You're going to love it. And all the tri-tips, everything delicious from Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. We'll have more right after Gina gives us the weather.
Expecting another warm day here in the Magic Valley. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Mostly sunny skies, expecting a high of 95, possible triple digits depending upon where you're at. Going to be a little bit breezy as well, winds out of the west, right around 5 miles an hour. Tonight we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy skies, expecting a low of 63 for Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 91, mostly clear for Wednesday night with a low of 60 by Thursday. Sunny and 90, and expect pretty much 90 degrees throughout the rest of the weekend. That's your weather forecast for 7th Rain.
Gina, good job. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And, of course, brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Oh, remember this. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. All right, your turn. I really would like some folks to give us a call and talk about anything you want to talk about for the remainder of this program. And we'll kind of turn it over to you right now. It's an open forum. You pick the subject, and we'll talk about it for the next 8-9 minutes. So give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please jump on the phone and give me a jingle. I'll tell you what, I'll make it into a little contest here. The first person that calls with the subject to talk about, I will buy their lunch at Denny's for our lunch bunch this Thursday at 11:30. There's the incentive to jump on the phone. Give me a call right now. First person to call with the topic, I'll take your number down and your name, and we'll buy you lunch at Denny's. America's Diner this Thursday for Zeb's Lunch Bunch. And we want to say thank you to all of our gift certificate sponsors, Walmart, Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Groceries, Doug Martin, Pomerell Place, and Denny's. Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, this Thursday at 11:30. Good morning. Who's calling?
Yes, good morning, Zeb, but I'll take a rain check on that thing. One thing I want to bring up is I got a letter from our city mayor. They want to put this big entertainment center up around here. And we didn't get any details on it. So I figure that's going to be another burden on our taxpayers. Going to be ongoing employees that they will need, ongoing maintenance, electrical stuff and all that. And I sent the letter back and told them, I says, Personally, I don't want to see that thing go up because I do not feel like providing money for somebody else's entertainment. Now, do you think my attitude is correct?
No, I tell you, there's a lot of ways to look at that, and without knowing all the parameters of what they're suggesting or going to promote or trying to build, I'm going to reserve comment as far as yay or nay. But I'm saying I have been involved in that kind of thing for over 50 years, and I do know about all the costs. I do know about all the labor. I do know about all the hidden expenses, and it's a lot more than what sometimes meets the eye, and I will reserve my comments until I find out exactly what their promotion is, but I tend to lean on your side.
Well, some years ago they were going to put something down in the fairgrounds, the ice skating rink and everything, so there was two other fellows and myself wrote a few articles about it, and I called the fellow that runs the ice skating rink up there. And I said, how much does it run to operate the Zamboni? And you got to have somebody to operate that thing. I said, what is the electrical cost? I couldn't believe what the cost to operate that, just the ice skating rink.
There are so many hidden costs that people don't know, and they're not hidden. I mean, you can research it and find it out. But I'd like to know all the parameters before I give a yes or a no. Tony, God bless you. I got another call waiting, but thank you for your call this morning. Thank you.
Okay, Zeb.
Thank you.
Bye.
Caller number 2, good morning. Who are you? Oh, we're backing up. Evidently, they didn't want that free lunch. Tony said he couldn't go, so I'm still offering someone with a free lunch if they'll call in with a topic they want to discuss in the last 5 minutes of our show this morning. So call back, and if you're the lucky person, I will buy you lunch at Lunch Bunch coming up on Thursday. While I'm waiting for that cow to moo again, I will say this. Our thanks go out to our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. They do have the best tires for your cars, your pickups, your SUVs. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't hang up. And don't forget, they've got many of them on sale. So if you're getting ready for a road trip, you need to get in and check out the great tire buys at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget this. They have the best in brake service. That's not brag. That's a fact. The best in front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, but above all, the best in service. They want to make sure that you get to where you're going and turn around and come home safely. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, do you feel like the Maytag repairman?
Well, no, but if you got a topic, I will buy your lunch.
Oh, no, that's not necessary. I'm going to be there, and I'm bringing a guest. Maybe you could pay his.
There you go. I'll do that. I will. What do you need to talk about real quick? I've got about 2 minutes left.
Okay. Over to Paul, there's a service station over there. There's 2 of them, in fact, that sell their gas for $3.09. And lo and behold, one of those stations gets their gas from the same place that the ones in Burley get it. Now, I kind of wonder why we have this big discrepancy. And I don't want to mention any names.
No, don't do that.
You know.
Yeah,
but
don't.
That don't seem like it's fair. If they can sell to them for $3.09, why can't they sell at one of their stations in Burley for the same price?
You know, the gas pricing, I've wondered for years about the variations and the variables and the how comes, and I think a lot of times, I'm just going to say this en masse, again, I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody, but I think there's a lot of the under-the-table grafting on certain prices, et cetera, and I think the public gets gouged on certain aspects of gasoline pricing, especially with all the pricing and the taxation, et cetera. We ought to do a full hour on gasoline and diesel pricing some morning in the first hour, and you're one of the first people that I'll call and get on the air.
Okay, that sounds fair.
All right.
And I hope that you have got plans for the day to do something else besides talk on the radio, right?
My plans for the day do not end at 11 o'clock when I sign off on this radio program. To be honest with you, that's just when the rest of my day's work starts. So the minute I say goodbye in about 2 minutes, it's going to be run out the door and take care of a bunch of chores that should have been done 3 days ago. So, Keith, God bless you, and thank you for your call. I appreciate it. Caller, quickly, I've got 1 minute left, and I am going to take your call. Good morning.
No, just a quick thing. My understanding is that the reason there's a difference in price is because it depends on if they've run out and they have a shipment and what that shipment costs. So they may even have two different prices in the same day.
Yeah, it can fluctuate in just literally the blink of an eye. And I'm going to try to do some research on the pricing and the structure of the area, et cetera, and how the pricing affects everyone. We're going to try to do that this next week, but I certainly am glad to hear from you, and I wish you to have a great, sunny, warm day.
And the same to you. Thank you.
All right, take care. Thank you very much. We're going to wrap it up and put it back in the box for today, and wish you and your family a great day. Be careful out there. It's warm. Drink a lot of liquids. And don't forget, we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 8:06. We'll saddle the horse and ride for 3 hours till 11 o'clock right out here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and then streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And we always wrap the program up by saying this, and then Wheels will take some music and run us up to CBS News. The way things were are the way things ought to be. And then we've added, the world needs more cowboys. Good morning, everybody. Have a great day.